Hello and welcome. Coming out in the last few minutes. Obviously, we'll have that confirmed in due course when the team is revealed. It's going to be a tricky one without Pogba, I think, as we've seen. No Scott McTominay either, as you would expect after suffering knee ligament damage against Newcastle on Boxing Day. Obviously, it's only 48 hours since that game. We haven't heard of any, injury to Pogba. We don't really know what's going on there, other than he hasn't been seen. There's still potential chance that he could be knocking about somewhere, got a different way to the stadium, or who knows what's going on. Usually, the squad arrives together, everyone gets off the bus, everyone trains, warms up together. So it does look as though Paul Pogba won't be playing today. But as I said, until that team news comes out for sure, we won't know. Let us know who you want to see in that midfield. No Pogba, according to John. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're hearing. Audio is a bit broken, apparently. I don't know what that's about. Seems all right. Now I think we should have sorted that. Where the F is Pogba? We don't know, mate. Hopefully we'll find out more very soon once the team news is revealed again. Just looking on Manchester United's Twitter there for confirmation it's still not out. Should be out in a couple of minutes. We're going to get molested. I mean, bit of a strong word, but it's going to be a tricky game. No McTominay, no Pogba, if that is the case. Pogba being rested for Arsenal, according to Patrick. I don't know, a bit of a risky one, if you ask me. We've not managed to dispatch teams like Burnley very comfortably at all this season, so I think resting players isn't a good idea. Surely he would be worth being on the bench even for another 30 minutes, if nothing else, to aid his recovery and to give United a better chance of winning with what is already a pretty threadbare midfield that now has multiple injuries to it. You would hope that, or you would assume that Pogba would be in there just as an option off the bench, if nothing else. People saying the sound's fixed. Yeah, that's good. We should be back up there. Does McTominay out mean a Matic start? Well, it might do, especially if there's no Pogba. I would have assumed that Pogba would have been starting today next to Fred in that midfield. But if he's out as well, you're probably going to be seeing a Fred, Matic, and Pereira midfield, which worries me slightly if it don't worry anyone else. What's the lineup? We are just waiting on the lineup. It should be coming out any minute now, and then we'll get a graphic for you as soon as that is ready. But as soon as the team comes out, literally the second it comes out, I'll be giving you that team news so everyone can hear that. But yeah, the news at the moment is that Paul Pogba is not at Turf Moor, which presumably is a worry for everyone. The fact that it's not been mentioned, there was no mention of him being rested in the build-up. Nothing said by Solskjaer that would sort of suggest that him being out is a purposeful decision. I would guess if he's not playing, it's because there has been some sort of injury picked up, or why at least not have him on the bench? It doesn't injure him to have him on the bench. If we're winning 4-0 and we don't need him, then leave him on the bench if he's not really ready to play more. Here's the starting lineup. It's just come out now, and just checking, there is no Paul Pogba. So the full lineup: David De Gea, Ashley Young, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Brandon Williams back in the starting lineup. First time in, I think, 4 games that he's even in the squad. We've got a midfield of Fred, Matic and Andreas, as I predicted. We've then got Dan James, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial with a sub-bench of Sergio Romero, Phil Jones, Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Lingard, Mata and Greenwood. Again, that main news there, no Paul Pogba. Let's just go over the team one more time. We've got a David De Gea in net, a back four of Ashley Young, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Brandon Williams, with a midfield of Fred and Matic and Andreas playing in that number 10 role. We've got Dan James back in the squad, back in the first team, should I say, on the right-hand side. Rashford, as always, on that left-hand side, and Anthony Martial playing up front through the middle. Let us know what you think to the team. There's a lot of audio's been a bit weird again, apparently. I'm just going to swap mics. We've got spares knocking about. Is that any better? Let us know. Let us know if that's working now. We don't know what's happened to Pogba. We've not heard anything about him so far. I've got 2 mics here. This is pretty crazy, isn't it? I've got a real mic and a backup mic. I don't know which one works. Let's move that one out of the way. Let's move on to this one. This one's on. People saying bye-bye, Paul. I don't think it's transfer related. Even if unless we're going to sell him tonight, why would he not be in the squad? Flogba. Right, I don't know what that means. Saving him for Arsenal. I can understand saving him for Arsenal, but I don't see why we wouldn't at least have him on the bench as an option. if it's 1-1 with 20 minutes to go, surely even unless he's picked up some sort of injury, he can offer something off the bench. Very strange one. Again, let's have another look at that first team. As you can see on the screen now, we've got David De Gea, Ashley Young at right back, so he's coming in for Wan-Bissaka, who seemingly is probably having a rest as well because he is on the bench. We've got Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Brendan Williams at left back, he's come in for Luke Shaw, who again has dropped down to the bench like Wan-Bissaka. We've got Fred, who doesn't seem to get a day off these days after being, fourth choice last season, fifth choice you could arguably say under Mourinho. He now plays every week. Then it's Matic next to him. We've got Dan James back in the squad, as we said before, on the right-hand side. Andreas behind Martial and Rashford on the left. Let us know what you think to the team. Let us know your score prediction for the game as well. John says, where is Howson? He's just there, just to my right here. He's going to be on the watch-along in a little bit with me and Alex, so be sure to tune in for that. Mason over Pereira, surely. Well, I think, as good as Mason is, he's not really number 10. And I think probably that industrious, hard-working side of Pereira's game is probably what's given him the nod there. Why is Wan-Bissaka on the bench? Again, I would guess that's just trying to save his legs. He's played a lot of games this season. We've got a lot more games coming up in a very short window. So, I think that's probably why he's on the bench there. As we're watching in the background, Norwich attacking against Tottenham and nothing there. Surely you're joking. No Greenwood, Pogba. We've struggled against these teams all season. So why? Well, Greenwood is on the bench, and Pogba isn't in the team or in the squad whatsoever, and seemingly isn't even at Turf Moor, which isn't too much of a surprise if he's not in the squad. But yeah, that's the main kind of story for all this. That is no Paul Pogba in the team. That's going to be it pretty much. Again, we'll go through the team one last time just for those who have just joined us. There is no Paul Pogba. We've got David Hare in net, Young, Lindelof, Maguire, Williams at the back. Then we've got Fred and Matic holding. We've got Dan James, Andreas Pereira, Marcus Rashford in behind Martial. So yeah, no Paul Pogba, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Mason Greenwood, all taken out of the starting lineup on the bench there. We're going to have a watch-along for that game. We start that watch-along about, just under an hour now. So 7:30, we'll be back. Me, Stephen Howson and Alex as well from Stretford Paddock. We're going to be there for that. Let us know your score prediction in the chat as well. And we'll be back, like I said, in just under an hour for the watch-along. Thanks very much for joining me. We'll see you then.